Welcome back to Pagan Crafting, my magical friends. Tonight, I'm sharing a whimsical little DIY that is perfect for spooky season. We're making a tiny, cute ghost on a swing diorama inside a shadow box. I hand painted a forest at night background, added some moonlight details, and brought it all together with our little ghost enjoying a midnight swing. This craft is fun, affordable, and full of seasonal charm, so grab your supplies, settle in, and let's craft some Halloween magic together. Here's a few of the tools that we're going to need, plus some matte black spray paint. I have 3 shadow boxes, frames, that I'm going to recycle and reuse that I've used. Actually, I had rocks in here from like Vancouver Island, Canada. Out of all my favorite beaches that I used to swim on and scuba dive on. And I collected the rocks and I had them inside these little window shadow boxes with sand and each color rock. Some of them were green, some of them were orange, some of them I had gray. They were really, really beautiful. But I'm going to take out the glass out of this because I'm going to use this at more of a depth. Now, this says collected 2007 made. We're going to spray paint all over that with Rust-Oleum, a flat black paint. Now, while that's drying, excuse my fingers, I got like spray paint on them. Yeah, it's okay. We're going to grab some galvanized wire. I found it super cheap at the dollar store. So I tend to kind of bounce around in my crafts. So, well, one thing's drying, well, one thing's curing, we're going to make something else. So while the frames are outside or getting cured, frames, by the way, because I'm going to be making 3 of these little guys. One is going to be this one on a swing. I have a little artist planned, and I have a little bookworm planned. So stay tuned. Hit that bell if you'd like to see some more. That would be cool. Now what I have here is just a little wooden bead filling in the hole with the glue. Now you can see I've bent over the wire in half. And these are going to be his little Budinsky, his little backside. Making his arms here. I'm just going to do a light frame because we're going to put a little sheet over top of him. So I want him hanging on to the little string of the swing. So we're going to bend his little hands up here. I don't want to point on the sheet. So that's why I've rounded out the ends here. I am using some extra wire cutters that are a little bit more industrial than my craft ones with the galvanized wire. I think the galvanized wire was just like a spool of it for like a couple bucks. I'm sure you can find it at the hardware store. It might cost a bit more, but really check your dollar store if you have one. If not, just some cheap and expensive wire. You don't need to get anything too fancy. Hot gluing his little arms down front and back. Reinforcing it. And we're going to let that cure. Now that that's dried and cured, I'm going to clip the ends of these popsicle sticks because we're going to make them a little swing. Now I'm not quite sure how long or how wide, so I'm going to grab 3 for now. Set them on. Oh, that looks good. I like the 3 wide. Now it's just a little long, so just going to mark that off. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's just a little makeshift swing in the forest. And one of them just absolutely flew, so I have to like cut another one. Instead of going and picking up, I'm just going to keep it going for the show. But yeah, one totally flung across my table and across the room. And we're going to throw down some little underside. This is going to be the bottom of our swing that's just going to hold this together. Using some white glue or Mod Podge paint. You could use, or Mod Podge glue, I mean. You can use whatever type of glue you want, depending on how long you want it to, you want to wait to dry it for. Now I have a t-shirt here that I bought. It wound up being cheaper to buy a new t-shirt for $5 than it was to go and buy some material for this. Or I really looked for a while at thrift stores to try to find some shirts that were a little bit nicer, some t-shirts, but I was also looking for some white material, but everything was too thick or patterned. So I thought, you know what, a $5 t-shirt, I'm happy with that. Now, our next step here is we are going to water down some glue. So 1 part glue, 1 part water, depending on your type of material that you're using. I'm just using about a 1/4 cup of each to make this work. Now, the fun part. It's like making paper mache but with glue. I'm going to use the glass that I took out from the frame, because I'm going to be putting together my little guys here. So instead of getting everything dirty, I'm going to use the glass. Alright, so fully saturate this, squeeze off any excess. I thought at first maybe I didn't have enough on. Went back, added a bit more. You know what? It takes a good 12 hours, but 24 hours for this to fully cure. You can play with this and paint it in 12 hours. It wasn't too bad to work with right away. I really would let mine cure. I'm going to have his little seat there, and I'm going to sit him on a little spool later on, and then he can sit there and have his little knees. Now, I can't find my tin foil, so I'm just going to use some rope. So normally I would use some tin foil to kind of take up the thicker things and not use so much glue, but we're going to use some rope, some cheap rope that I had around the house. So if you notice, I have 2 new glue guns, which is super cool. The last of my glue gun is passed away. These have no moss and no debris and no glue and everything everywhere. I was looking for a larger glue gun, so I got 2 of these little guys. They're smaller voltage, so they're good for finer detail. So it did take a little bit longer to fill in a few things, but it was really nice to work with smaller glue guns because the voltage is smaller and thus giving you less heat and finer glue details to make the branches or whatever designs you wish to do. Using a larger glue gun is one thing. I love my big glue gun that just recently passed away. Also last month, I've gone through 4 glue guns in like a month and a half. They've all just, I've just used and abused them. They have lived a full life. But back to the larger glue guns. Good for filling in, not good for detail. Good to get some fast work done. Good for bigger burns, you know, that kind of thing. I am proud to report I did not glue myself on this project. First time in a long time. Yeah, high five. How many people can say that? Each project, not burn yourself. Let's see a little painter's palette. Say, I have not burned myself with glue today. Ah, a little bit of hot glue underneath our little swing with our rope before I continue on anymore with the glue branches. I'm going to glue down the back side of our rope and then build up some more glue, some more hot glue over that for the branch. Give it a more 3-dimensional vibe, if you will. Look at that, how that turned out. Oh, it's going to look so cool. All right, gonna throw down some here. I'm gonna figure out where he should sit actually. Maybe it doesn't need to be dead centered. All right. Feeling it there. And this one, holding it. And I'm just gonna snip off the excess at the top, adding lots and lots of glue over top. And then we'll hide that I forgot to glue down the rope first, but that's okay. It still looks super cool now that I snipped this off, and then we'll add the next layers. And who's to say, who's to know? Yeah. And more layers with our glue gun. We don't need too much actually, because I've built up a fair amount of layers with this one. I kind of like using the two glue guns because, well, one is pooped and waiting to heat up for the next level. I can grab it and just keep going back and forth, which is super rad. I do miss my larger glue gun, but I need the detail in this one. I have seen some crafters on YouTube that had glue guns that were like cordless, and they look like cordless power tools. They were so intense. That's some serious dedication to the craft. Holy smokes. And that's some serious dedication to, like, we need some glue on demand. I'm kind of feeling envious, some glue envy. For sure. But I don't know what I would do with it. I'll make some wands, I guess. Make some honey wands. Okay, so now we have our bits and pieces on top. We are going to be taking some paint to our trees, so we'll be able to hide some of the see-throughness. Rocking in, I love how the roots come down off the tree onto the board and onto the side of the frame. Now, I lightly sketched on some trees and a little path for the background. I have a moon there as well. I'm going to do everything a little bit of moonlit. So just bringing in a very simple background using a midnight blue, adding my beautiful white there to that, my brilliant titanium white. And I'm just going to be using my deep midnight blue with black and white, and that's the three colors that I'm going to play with this. Now, I'm going to start adding in some dimension. I'm going to keep the little swing out of the way, and that's okay for now because we're going to be adding some little fun and life to that. Now I'd like to show a little bit more depth in my trees. So we're going to bring out some little oomph and just show that pathway a little bit more. I love that. Again, just as it coming closer to you, we're going to go darker and darker. So going from a light to a dark into the black. Again, we're going to bring in some smoky grays with the blues to bring in our trees. Takes a couple layers, play with it. They don't need to be too predominant in the pictures. I wish the light didn't hit this shiny acrylic so brightly, but when it dries, you'll see the love that I have in this. Before I bring in my branches from about the midpoint of the painting, I need to get in the moon. So I had to rock in the moon before that was done. Lots of layers, lots of dimension. Have some fun with this. Put as many trees or as little trees as you'd like. I just thought a few trees down the walkway. And you could add a lot lighter trees in the background too. Now bringing in my midnight black. Giving everything a very healthy layer, because then after that we're going to do some dry brushing. And the dry brushing we're going to bring in to make it look like what we've done on the trees in the background. So we're going to add some of those highlights and moonlights a little around the tree branches, so that'll stand it out and make it look more one with the piece. So what I'm going to do after I have painted a layer on everything, I'm going to let this dry for a little bit because acrylic does need some time, and I want to just take a break and start it the next day. So first, work in the background. There wasn't much more that I could have done on the trees because I just needed to let it dry for a while. I tried adding a little bit more of the dark, and I needed some more moonlight kisses. So that just had to be waited till the next day. I love how the little moonlight kisses turned out. I couldn't help myself, but I did touch some up before I went to bed when it was a little bit drier. Nice dry brush of some smoky blue. Just a very fluffy brush. You could use a makeup brush. I'm using an older, I guess it's kind of like a flat head brush, but it's gone a little fluffy at the ends. I've used it for over 20-30 years, so now it's my dry brush, and it's beautiful. I still get into the detail that I need, and it's still going to dry brush on nicely for the effects that I need in now. So I never throw out a brush, even when I'm down to the last couple hairs, and then I'll like trim it down and use that for even like doing eyelashes or detail in something. I never give up a brush. I'm very happy with how this has turned out. All right, I'm gonna add just a little bit more of some moonlight kisses now that that is all dry, and I have mixed it in the gray but bringing in some white on top of the three-dimensional branches that I made out of hot glue. And now the swing seems a little too bright, so I was like, all right, making a decision. We're gonna add some little midnight kisses on this one, some age onto it, keeping up with the theme of the color. And I can't forget the bottom. Right when I was painting it, my daughter walks by, don't forget the bottom. I'm like, oh yeah. I didn't think you'd really see the bottom, but you know, you gotta do it. And some more little moonlight kisses on the branches. Once that dries, that'll look so sharp. Now, a cute little tiny ghosty has dried perfectly. This has been 24 hours. And I'm just going through these brushes trying to find the perfect fine point brush. I'm going to do his little eyes now. And I'm not going to do anything too wild, just some simple little cute little black eyes for our cute little ghost on the swing. I was thinking about putting on a mouth, but then I changed my mind. So I'm just going to stick with the eyes for this part. The bead underneath, the wooden bead, makes it so easy to paint on. And this t-shirt material has dried perfectly. He's hard, yet with the wire underneath, you can still manipulate it a little bit. You don't want too much, you don't want to lose its form, but you can still shift and play with it. It's not so completely hard. Taking a little gray dry brushing along the bottom of the sheet. You know, he is walking in the forest, or floating in the forest, excuse me. You know, they get a little dirty here and there. That's okay. Now, he is sitting great, but I think I'm going to glue down for where his little hands would be underneath the sheet. Just helps hold him on the swing there. Look at that, so cute. Oh, oh, look, it's again so cute. Oh, I am loving, but we're missing some stars. So adding my little dotting tool, you could add the end of a paintbrush as well, use a small one. Just painting behind the bush line, behind the trees that I did there, and adding in some cute little points. Up next, I have these cute little white pumpkins. I think they're made out of styrofoam. They feel pretty light, and we're going to cut into them in a moment and find out. But these are left over from another project that I got from the dollar store. And look at that. So I'm going to glue one against the back and just one on the side. I just need a little extra love in that corner. Hot gluing them down. I kind of made a choice where I should have glued this one down first, but got excited with the one that I just cut. But that's okay. Throwing that one in first. And I love how that fits on there. Playing around with the idea of using the butt of the other pumpkin, but I didn't feel it. Let it go. All right. And that's it, my friends. Our tiny ghost on a swing is complete, floating happily in the moonlight forest. I just love how this little diorama turned out. It's spooky, it's still so sweet, and it's a perfect mix for a witchy craft. And remember, it's the first of a series. I'll be making 2 more tiny ghost dioramas. If you enjoyed this one, you won't want to miss out what's coming next. So if you want to try making your own, please share a picture with me, throw down a little like and subscribe, and let me know if you made a little ghosty diorama with me. Thanks so very much for spending some crafty, witchy time with me. Until next time, may your nights be enchanted, your crafts be magical, and may the ghosts always swing gently under the moonlight. Blessed be, and I'll see you on the next video.